It's 9 o'clock. We're going to call our meeting to order. I'm going to read the statement. Welcome, citizens of Clay County. I want to take this opportunity to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to attend today's school board meeting. This meeting is our opportunity as your elected representatives to collaborate openly and to make decisions that will decide the future direction of our public schools and the education of our children here in Clay County. There will be an opportunity for the public to ask questions at the end of the workshop presentation. Your participation is welcome and appreciated. Mr. Superintendent?
Good morning. All right, we'll jump right into it. C1, minutes for workshops for April 25th. Here's the report. C2, disappointment of the CCAA and CESPA bargaining teams. This is just an addendum where we're adding Tommy Fitzpatrick, who is now the new Director of Transportation, and replacing, he'll be added, and also replacing Mr. Feltner, who will be leaving to go to another county, and we're replacing him with Ms. Pickett, Treasurer Pickett. The next is consent, C3.
Mr. Superintendent, if I could.
Yep.
Our first bargaining session is tomorrow. So Ms. Pickett's going to show up for the meeting with the board's permission, pending its approval at the board meeting.
She's super excited. All right, C3 is consent. I will note in the consent agenda there is a new job description. The job description is professional learning facilitator. This is the we're not adding new positions, we're just transitioning the name, recommendation for the name of the position. This used to be our best coaches, where we had 10 coaches that would service our new teachers. And in this job description, we're moving, the reason we're changing it because we're moving the funding source to Title II, which is all about professional development, which is exactly where it should be. This is, Title II funding is about providing, building capacity of teachers and leaders and in this area, we'll continue to have the 10 individuals and the professional learning facilitators, but they will be, new things will be placed in this job description is that the coaches will be placed in geographical zones for next year. That way they don't have to travel all around the county, and then they'll also work not only with new teachers, but also experienced teachers as well. So we've broadened their range to be able to service all teachers in need in schools. And every school next year for 17-18 will get a professional learning facilitator a minimum at least once a week. It's just good practice. It's good practice. Any questions?
I'm sorry. Okay. We haven't had a facilitator for new teachers for a number of years, that's my understanding.
Yeah, we
used to have a mentorship program for new teachers. So is this in essence sort of replacing the mentorship program, but going, instead of from a
so you're supposed
daily to more of a weekly?
Yeah, you're supposed to have a, last year you had best coaches, and those best coaches, my understanding, work with all new teachers. And I think there's around 196, 200 new teachers last year in the system. And these 10 best coaches were deployed just to those individuals within the organization. And as part of their development, and by statute, we have to have individuals that work with new teachers as well. But what we're trying to do is not only broaden where we focus on our teachers that are brand new, but if there's a teacher in year 2, year 3, year 4, we want to assist as well, then we provide that assistance. And the beauty is if teachers are working in their PLCs and they like to have access to this individual can come and provide additional training as well and direction in order to help them build their capacity instructional or pedagogy wise. Okay. Anything else? All right. C4, advertise for School Board Policy 2.02, which is the application screen. Here we have language in this policy that talks about if a teacher who has a satisfactory evaluation is not reappointed. The current policy states that those individuals have to sit out for 1 calendar year. And what I am asking and proposing is that we remove that language and allow the individual who is satisfactory to return to the pool, candidate pool immediately, in order for them to have another opportunity to go and be able to teach in the organization. I will say I support this 100% because you may have a teacher and a leader that have a conflict, and that conflict can be so many different reasons. but they are a satisfactory teacher, but they just don't merge with leadership, and this gives them opportunity to go to the pool. And if another administrator interviews and does their reference calls, then they have the opportunity to employ that individual for the next year.
And this just relates to teachers, not to support staff?
Right now, this is related to, yes ma'am, to the teachers.
Mr. Brodsky, is that correct, or is it all employees?
I think it's all.
It's all employees.
I think in 10, I
It is.
think 10 says support.
And the
Teacher
background
or
to this
support
is, this
employee.
used to be a state statute,
It
and it
is.
was changed
We're
years
moving.
ago, and we're the only district right now that has that written in the policy still.
Yeah, it removes.
Or support employee, okay.
So in the word, yeah, it just puts to the candidate pool, period. So it just, okay.
Thank you.
And then we have
That relates to the
250 positions open a year. Someone may have opportunity to make differently and be great. All right, C5 is just renewal of University of North Florida memorandum of understanding with our school to our Sprint teachers. Our Sprint leads, they work with interns and place students who have aspirations to teach. They place these Sprint teachers do a number of things with working with interns, working with pre-interns, working with students, placing, observing student teaching within our school district. This has been ongoing practice for a number of years in Clay County. I think it's been an awesome opportunity to have individuals within our school district. There is a cost factor to this, as always. We pay half of the salary for 2 individuals, so we don't UNF will pick up the other half. And not only do they work with interns and pre-interns and students within the organization, they also work with our new teachers in their TIP Plus beginning teacher portfolio. So they check a number of portfolios and to ensure that they complete the portfolios in order for them to meet their qualifications after their first year to be a teacher. Do we find out how many we hired?
We hired 80% of the people that were
Yeah.
that intern within our district.
So one of the questions is I believe this is to be a value. We do a mock interview process every year where principals get a chance, where pre-interns and interns get a chance to interview with our principals, and we use that as a recruiting tool. And the question this morning was, what's the percentage that we hire? And 80%. That's a large percentage. We have surrounding counties begging us to come to this interview process to be able to gain access to these interns. But I think it's a great program initiative. All right, C6. C6 is a 3-year extension of the current affiliation agreement with the University of Southern California. This is these are individuals in Clay County who are taking online coursework with the University of Southern California. We started this in 2012, I believe, in Clay County, and I believe there's there's a dozen constituents that are involved. And these are individuals who are the same thing, have interns and doing student work. They want to come and be a part of the teaching field, and there's no cost to us. It's just having access to those individuals, and we work collectively to place them from an internship within our organization. Okay. C7. So C7 is Eureka Math. This is looked to be trialed as a supplemental support system for mathematics for grades 2 through 8 for 17-18. We have 6 schools that have volunteered to transition to take on Eureka Math moving forward for 17-18 school year. Eureka Math is the leading curriculum as relates to being aligned with Florida standards. We have a number of surrounding counties that are using us, and the big ones are Pasco and Lee. We see that in the last 3-year trend, we see in grades 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 that our proficiency has declined. When we have been using Go Math and Carnegie series, and also we've seen an increase of level 1 and level 2 students in grades 3 through 7 as well. And we believe that Eureka does a great job building the conceptual understanding of mathematical practices. It gives our students a better understanding of how to understand coherence and understand number sense and number relation. And with 16 schools wanting to pilot this, I think this is a step in the right direction. And they are wanting, excited to do this. And we worked with through Dr. Stallman and staff and elementary and Terry Connor as well to make sure that that teachers understood what they were being exposed to and leaders were exposed to as well, prior to transition into offering this to anyone in the organization. The cost is, this is a free curriculum. There is cost associated. The cost is for, one-time cost is for manipulatives, which would be $55,000 for the manipulatives that we will use in our classrooms. And the other one is just simply copying and to make sure that students have their student informational binders in order to use. this is a deep level of mathematical practices, and you will see some great work out of this.
Can I request
Yep.
to see, you said Lee and Pasco
Yep.
County, are there any other counties that are
Yep,
using?
Duval County uses this as well.
Duval.
I believe a number of surrounding counties,
Yeah.
you'll see, it'll be all up.
We just pick like ones.
Yeah, we just put
So-
like this.
I would like to see the spreadsheet like you have here of our FCAT and FSA scores.
Yep.
I'd like to see those for
There's,
those counties.
absolutely. We'll break it down by grade level.
Thank you.
I can tell you the county north of us, they saw a tremendous spike with this.
I just brought something up on my email as well, because we went through this at the Florida School Board Association new school board members training. And we had a presentation from a company that said basically, they were an outside company that came in and brought in to talk about all different types of curriculum. And during the meeting, I literally texted him and said, I'm sitting here looking at the chart. You can look over my shoulder if you want. This is ELA and math. Eureka was the only one that was fully aligned to the Florida State Standards. And Go Math was somewhat aligned, and Envision and Big Ideas and Reading Street were not aligned. And I literally texted him and said, when are we getting Eureka Math?
That's right.
Because I was like, that's, having used Go Math, it doesn't have the support, and we were constantly bringing in from outside sources. So just,
Yeah, and we can put some, we'll look at some data, and then also this aligns beautifully with Intel, with the conceptual understanding for teachers, and it allows them to have a deeper understanding of how to implement Eureka. I'll provide data.
Now, will they get trained over the summer?
Oh, yes, ma'am. As soon as this is approved, we have we'll have immediate training. Immediate training. And I would say that our data clearly shows we gotta do something different. Any other questions?
Yes, thank you. I noticed that the next day.
what's that?
Mrs. Bush has worked on our agenda so that when we pull up the backup, not only do we see who submitted the paperwork, but who the instructional or facilities, which staff member is really the expert on it.
Cool.
So we should contact. So here it says Dr. Stallman.
Good.
So if we had questions, we'd know who to go to. It used to be that way with the old one.
Yeah.
And thank you, Karen, for doing that.
Sure. It's great work. Y'all did. All right, any other questions? All right, C8 is, I as you know, that we brought to the board last month was Achieve 3000 for grades 4 through 8. And as a tier 2 approach, and could be used somewhat of a tier 3, and now we're on the other side, we need an approach for reading that is a tier 2 for K3, and also a math tier 2 for K8. And iReady is, we're currently using in all of our Title I schools as of right now. I believe that started in,
This year.
It started this year, started to collect some data internally. We see that kids are making some growth, and I can send that data to you so you can have. But this is a great opportunity for kids to work before, during, after, or at home on literacy practices in K3, but also mathematical practices through K8. What this does is provides a diagnostic for kids at the beginning of the school year, and then it really scaffolds instruction to allow a kid to be on grade level, to scaffold to be get to grade level or beyond for enrichment activities. And this really allows us to have kids to have a personalized, individualized curriculum that is based on their ability and skill sets and helps them lead to be successful in mathematical practices and also in reading from K to 3. And it really provides a perfect opportunity for differentiated instruction. We're going to continue to provide instructional frameworks in collaborations with our teachers to determine and talk and discuss how we can embed this within the school day, and then also how to leverage this outside of the school day as well, so when kids go home they can actively use this tool to be successful. Rave great reviews right now from teachers who are entitled. They love it, and everybody's excited to be able to get it because we really don't have a tier 2 system internally as it relates to this work.
When we did our walk around with you back on November
Yes, ma'am.
28th at Lake Asbury Junior High, there was a math teacher
Yeah.
that was doing some free trials.
Yeah.
Is this what that was?
No, that was I think that was Math Excel.
Oh.
And they were doing it, but when I talked to her about this that day, she would love to have
So this
this.
is a similar kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is something, so, yeah, we have teachers that were, exactly, she was starving for material, she was doing a trial, and she was being creative, she goes, hey, for 30 days, I gotta figure out a way to do a new trial. And they shouldn't have to do that, this gives them an anchor platform to actually use and access, so. And they will not only just get a digital program for kids that gives them an individual profile for kids to learn the scaffold instruction, but it gives them a instructional resources to pull. So when they pull, so they can pull up data on a weekly basis to see how a kid is doing, and they can pull additional resources from the curriculi and meet with kids in small group to really work on skill remediation or standard remediation. Understand anything?
Perfect. I've been trying to get into a lot of schools as well, and it's amazing how teachers will say, I want you to come on doing iReady so you can see it. Or Achieve 3000, it's like, come here and watch this.
I think we did.
And then
when we
talking
see it
to
at
the
12
students.
minute.
Yes.
We did, okay, because I was thinking we did.
That might be, yeah, that could have, when we went in, right? But even like
It'd be an
Keystone
active
Heights
user.
and McCray,
And the kids
and
really like
it's like the kids pull it up and they're just, it's like totally engaged. And I sit with the kids then and say, show me what you're doing. Why are you doing this? And they're zeroed in. I mean, they are totally engaged, so it's like, and it's not, don't assume that we're turning everything over to computerization.
Oh, no,
It is definitely not that.
Yeah.
It is you will have 20 minutes to do this, or you'll have 15 minutes to do this, or whatever, the time is allotted for that time, and then we're going to come back to this.
Yeah.
And that's I've seen it in math, I've seen it in reading, and the students, and just looking at, for instance, your screen, and then looking at yours, you can see the differences in the curriculum. I mean, you can see how they're also. The other question that I had about Achieve 3000, am I saying it right? Achieve
Yes, ma'am.
3000?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
I'm still driving. Was, I was concerned about the science input. And I had a couple of teachers say, oh, wait, we use it for science. And they really drew it in. And that was my concern for the students, because particularly 5th grade, we're reteaching 3rd, 4th, 5th for that FCAT science. We're trying to make certain that they have everything fresh again, and what they may have forgotten in 3rd grade, we're bringing up again. And through that, they can, it's amazing how they'll bring it back and say, well, this is happening because of this, it's like, yes, that's the idea. Sorry.
Nope, no
No
worries.
sales pitch
You're
there.
good. No, I will tell you that nothing will replace great teachers.
Oh,
So this is
okay.
just an avenue for kids to be able to access and to continue to learn. I tell you that, our kids will soar on this, on their own outside of the school day. So, I'm excited. All right, C9, approval for out-of-county travel. This is, we have 5 schools. We have Ridgeview that's going to South Carolina for astronomy. This is a good chance for them, the unique opportunity for them to see the solar eclipse. Won't occur again to 2045. We have Ridgeview High going to, they competed in Tallahassee for state history fair, and the reason that it's on here now is because they didn't know they were going to be able to go. Keystone's actually going to do some ROTC work with leadership building in Hartford and doing the summer work. Oak Leaf Junior High School got invited to go to perform in the music hall in the Hall of Fame in Nashville. Pretty cool.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
pretty cool.
I think
And
board members should.
we
I
we
think
should-
we should
hey,
all go.
if there's a chaperone, just let me know. We'll make sure we're good to go. Got to fill out a form. Just kidding.
Better pack your bag, that one's this weekend.
Yeah, I know.
That one's
Oh,
in a couple days.
how fast can you pass?
No, that's in 2018.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, right.
We have a
Hey,
year to
we got
prepare.
time.
We're
Yeah.
doing such a good
Go
job
shopping.
planning in advance. We're bringing. And then Middleburg High is every year annually. A lot of schools go to take advantage of the annual conference for yearbook. So this is Middleburg. I'm sure we'll see more in the coming days for this annual yearbook. They take kids to go. They're editors and they do some good
Yeah.
work. Pretty good work.
Mhm. I hope that they have reservations already for Capers Island,
And,
unless they're staying in a school or something with sleeping bags. Because my daughter purchased a birthday gift for my son-in-law to go to South Carolina to watch the solar eclipse. And they are, I mean, it is
Major.
packed, it is already
I'll-
sold out,
I got
it
it.
is.
I got it.
She was lucky she got a room in a house.
Yes, ma'am.
Airbnb.
Yep, seriously, that was last resort and she got one. Mhm. I mean, just saying.
All right, C10. C10 is approved for certified leadership coaching. As we talk about building capacity of our leaders within our school and within our organization, and this is for principals for 17-18. I want to partner with the University of Florida Lassiter Center for Learning. They are nationally, locally and nationally recognized for their work in building capacity of leaders. This is where they'll focus on training our principals to be truly instructional coaches. And principals will have to go through rigorous training. It'll be once a month. They'll have to do a summer institute and then once a month training where they will receive certification of becoming an instructional coach. And this is our commitment for transforming the way of work for principals, not only to be an operational expert, but to drill down to work side by side teachers versus having top down conversations about walking into a classroom, telling them what they don't see and talking at the teacher versus talking with the teacher for self-reflection. And this is a shift and a transformation of our work so we can get better through building instructional capacity, training, to how to leverage professional development through job-embedded professional development through our PLCs, and how do we better understand cycles of feedback with our teachers so that they can really continue to work with our teachers side by side. Now, administrators are going to have to do some real unique stuff. They're going to have to capture information about what they see in classrooms, how they have conversations, coaching conversations with teachers, and they're going to have to video with a teacher willing to video them giving feedback to a teacher where they can sit and reflect on it, and they have to submit that to the University of Florida for them to somewhat grade in order for them to be able to pass and extend. They coach them. I'm not great about it. I want to grade them. That's all right. In order to coach them so that they can talk about what they could have done better and how they could allow the teacher to have self-discovery versus talking at the teacher about best practices. And I think this is a powerful movement. So this is going to be used with a faculty teacher leadership grant, and so it'll be through Title II funding as well, which is grant funding that we get provided every single year. So it's just us using a different way for coaching leaders within our organization. The plan is hopefully we can use principals year one and then get to assistant principals year two. It's just the cost factor. This is going to cost $60,000. I will tell you openly, this usually costs around $90,000 to $100,000. And after
You saved us $40,000.
So after some conversations and let them know our needs and how we will continue to show the benefits within this organization, we will help them continue to grow their work.
He negotiates. I felt embarrassed asking the University of Florida. I know how much it costs them.
Save some money.
But
They all yell at me. They give me a price and well, that's not working. I'm calling someone else. That's not
What's the
working.
worst that can happen? They can say no.
Yeah.
There you go.
They have no business or they can have some business.
There you go.
I look at it the model. We save
Way to
money.
look at it.
Yeah. And actually some of it, we should get stuff free and pilot it. If it works, then we ought to pay year two. That's what we ought to hold. It's their accountability and their stake. So, sorry. Off task. All right, so C10. Any questions? And then we put a scope and sequence for you in the backup so you can review the initiatives and what we aspire to push for. All right, the next one is the Summer Institute for Principals. We would like to partner with the New Teacher Project in the same partnership that you talked about, Ms. Bola, how they identified the New Teacher Project was the ones who did the leadership in the school board initiative and the meetings. They are national leaders for improving teaching and learning. What we want them to do is to come in and partner with us for a 3-day institute where we train not only principals but assistant principals and vice principals as well to come in, and we have amended the Title II grant to restructure funding. So this is cost neutral for us with restructuring funding. The state has approved this in reference to our amendment, and they support the New Teacher Project, who's a national driven organization, and they will come in for a 3-day institute to focus on a number of things for our principals to really understand the shifts of standards, how to leverage curriculum, how to analyze classroom practices through video analysis and in order to continue that feedback cycle, and then really how to use the EQUIP protocol to go into classrooms and to help teachers plan robust instruction and lessons sort of aligns with Florida standards. And it will be the heaviest professional development that we have ever had, and I will say this openly, in this county related to standards. It's going to be extremely packed. Please, if you want to come, please, you're more welcome to come. It's going to be really rich. We will kick off and drive it. I will drive it and talk about my initiatives for 17, 18, and what we're trying to accomplish overall, big scale. And then we're going to go straight to breakout sessions and grade bands and be really relevant about how we leverage our curriculum that we've adopted, how do we understand shifts, and how do we better merge to empower teachers to be successful in this organization continued.
Where are you gonna have this?
Right now, do we Thrasher?
Right.
Thrasher Horn.
Do
Thrasher
you have
Horn.
a date for that yet?
Yes, ma'am. It's going to be June
June.
19th through 21st.
Yes, sir.
Whew, got it right.
And
And
what's the time?
we will kick off at 8 o'clock. One thing they know that from 8 to 4:30 on our meetings, it's packed time, but it's good time.
Are we paying to use the Thrasher?
Yes, ma'am. We did pay to use Thrasher through
With Title
with
II
Title II funding for professional development.
We wrote a budget amendment.
As part of that, and they give us a really good deal. But it's a nice professional setting, so wish we had one of those.
They've had the principal leadership training at the Thrasher. That's
Yeah.
the last week.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm excited. Wish the room was a little bigger.
Mhm. Yeah, because it's packed.
Any questions? This will be used for leadership faculty development grant as well, and this is the Title II, just repurposing money. Next is the daily hours and teachers in our students. We know that this just talks about same hours for teacher report hours, leave hours, student report and leaving, and then also some identified common planning times as well. Anything that may change from a common planning time, we will bring back so you'll know it. But I think principals and teachers actually identify this locally, which is fine.
I have a problem with the name.
What? Come. Good. I'll put PLC.
They would prefer it to be a PD sort of thing because
Yeah.
it's getting confused with their
That's fair.
planning periods. And so teachers are
Fair.
very anxious about that, and I think administrators are confused about it.
Sure.
Because they actually think that it's gonna be something during the contacted day instead of the way we
Right.
set it up.
So Ms. Paiva, I agree. We'll
that
make a
would be
change. We make a change to PLC.
Absolutely. You want it
Let's see. You
PLC?
want to say PLC?
PLC or PD, I think you're more of a
Professional.
PD.
I'm trying to move away from PD,
Professional
run lead,
Well,
just
go
because.
PLC because they understand it,
All
but they
right.
don't say, when you say common planning there, and the principals are telling them, oh yeah, you're losing a planning period during the
Ah.
contracted day, and they're saying, no, we worked it out so we're
Right.
at the same times.
Right,
So, if we can identify it as a
As a
PLC, would be
PLC.
fine, because they all
Right.
understand what that
Right.
means.
I'll make that change.
Although you're structurally will be doing it as a common planning period.
Correct. Correct. So Ms. Paiva, can I have comp planning too?
Sorry?
Can
You can have slash PLC,
I
whatever
have
you want
comp
to do.
planning as well?
Yeah.
Another comp?
Yeah, from 9 to 10 at night, for you alone.
I'm trying to get another one in there.
No.
No, thank you. I knew that was good.
It's individual.
That's right. One-on-one just me.
Just you.
Put that on my calendar. Okay.
So
Next
back
is
to
13.
13. Sorry, mine's on that way. 13 is 17, 18 proposed allocation changes. Do you want me to walk through these individually?
Does anybody have any questions? We've all reviewed it.
And if you, I'll bring up, if you see on the last two bottom, there's two positions that we.
Director of Facilities Planning and Construction, is that,
That's not the CM. We're going to consult CM.
okay.
Yeah, we're going to consult CM.
So
We have an
this is an
individual.
allocation we've already had.
You've already had in the past.
Has it
and
not been
it has not been filled. And just because
Did you add STEM?
No, we're finalizing vision and
We're
then
doing visioning.
vision,
Summer.
and then summer and then opening that position. All right.
Is Rich, you getting the media specialist?
Yeah, so I can explain that.
Because of the time, they're being tied
Yeah,
up
so
in there?
Ridgeview
There's
High
more
School,
money?
Ridgeview High School, if you see on here, is getting a media specialist. Because I openly said at the board meeting, if you could meet class size, if you could continue to offer every pathway through the academy and meet class size, and you had an additional allocation within your structure, they found out, they did a good job about master scheduling, and they wanted to trade the teaching position plus a media tech position that we gave them in order to have the second media specialist. I said that openly on the board if they could do those things, and I'm going to fulfill my,
And it's a savings.
yep.
Good.
What is the teacher science resource moving from one elementary school to another?
Oh, okay, good question. So we overstaffed Keystone Elementary School, and when I had my lead meeting to talk about data analysis, what they're doing about a month and a half ago, how they're leveraging results in small group instruction, the principal was actually extremely professional. She goes, Addison, I gotta let you know, and she came up in front of everyone, you gave me an additional allocation that we didn't generate. And Tynes was sitting there saying, well, I was the one school that I believe didn't get and we actually need. And the principal looked to her and said, I had the allocation and I don't need it, and if you need it, you can have it. And you know what, most principals would, I'll be honest with you, they would say, they wouldn't say a word. They wouldn't say a word.
That's very true.
But kudos to Melanie Sanders. She's actually a good principal
She is.
and good mentality. She's very, she talks fast like me. I like it.
Yeah, she does.
And for her professionalism, this is the change. So, and I will tell you openly, if she donates kids and she gets it back, she can get it back because I appreciate her workmanship on that.
Any other questions? All right.
Proposed allocation changes for 16-17. This is a paraprofessional reading that, to be honest with you, this is one that I brought in November that was being paid, that was a 1.0 and being paid as a 1.0, but in the structure and computer, she was a 0.9 for some reason. So the pay structure stays the same. We're just getting we're dating back to 2015 where it's actually accurate within our system.
We had this a couple months ago,
No,
my
yeah.
opinion,
Yeah.
where it was a couple other things from 2015 that
Yes,
came
ma'am.
before us.
So,
I remember thinking at the time,
It's one of two people in the entire district that are in that particular job. And they're actually work at 1.0, being paid as 1.0, but they were in error. They were a 0.9 officially on the books because it's never been voted on by the
Yeah.
board. So this corrects that and reflects what we're currently doing for auditing purposes.
yeah, I'll say it protects us from an auditor standpoint. So I wanted.
good catch, thank you.
All right, next one is review and approval of new district property and casualty insurance through our, I believe that is through Arthur Gallagher and Company. It's just renewal process for personal, workman's comp, auto, and legal liabilities. They give us two options for 17-18. Option 1, you'll see on the right-hand side, and option 2. I believe option 2 is the most attractive option because it allows us to increase our named storm coverage from 16 million to 20 million. And then also allows us to add Activist Helena, which is new for coverage, which is new for us. And then we still have a $4,000 savings for the 17-18 school year. Any questions? Anything, Dr. Rebecca?
No, perfect.
All right.
This is a standard renewal that we do every year, so.
Not much matter. Next one is renewal of district's third-party adjuster, which is John Easter's company. This is all about our workman's comp and our self-insured programs. This initiative is a 3-year renewal, which will cost us around $297,000. And it gives us the number of claims that they will assist us with, which is 239 for the next 3 years. It gives you a cost analysis of every single year for the practice.
It certainly has gone up quite a bit. I'm wondering if this is something we might want to hold off on and let Mr. Daggett review it before we go forward. When does this contract actually expire?
Is July, is June 30th?
June 30th.
Yeah.
June 30th.
So we'll have a couple weeks. I mean, we can, if there's,
I don't have a problem. I just know that this is our third-party adjuster that handles all of our workers' comp claims. We don't not have the facilities or capability or even stability to manage these claims.
Right.
So John's Eastern has acted as our
3
TPA
years
for
or
several
so.
years.
Yeah.
Actually, it
Yeah.
goes back
Right.
maybe 15, 20
Right.
years, and we've always had 3-year agreements.
do you want me to make a call?
As far as save
Oh,
save money.
See how much
Sure.
of a discount we can get?
Maybe send me the number and I'll let them know where we are.
He's our financial
I will,
advisor.
listen, I will also tell them where we are from the governor's budget.
Okay.
From the governor's budget,
I
we're
will
down,
send you
you know, we're
that.
down in the governor's budget, so I'll tell them that, hey, we have X amount of dollars.
Okay.
You know, and, do you have any other quotes that I can use?
I think it would be worthwhile to ask them if this is a reflection of other workers' comp rates going up because of the Supreme Court decision in November about
Right.
attorney's fees.
Yes.
However, they don't need to raise their rates, they're not going to
They're
be
the
covered.
middleman,
Right.
they're our
Yes,
third party middleman, so
Right.
I'm just, the dollar amount,
I'll be happy to assist you.
Yeah, I'll say, if you wanna have a conference call with me, you can
Sure.
nudge me
like
if I
that.
say something.
okay. All
Okay,
right.
now I'll
Awesome.
send
Well,
you
then
the
just
number.
leave it on and,
Can you give me a week's time?
yeah, leave it on and you can just let us know,
Awesome.
or, you know. I don't want to, walk Mr. Daggett into anything that he hasn't reviewed yet,
Okay, yes, ma'am.
but I do know we've used them for years.
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 I will do my best to see what I can do.
Accept your challenge.
All right, thank you.
I need to buy a new car, would you go with me?
I go in. Listen, you give them one price, and we gotta walk out. You can never call them again. They'll call you. All right, C-17 is just our warrants and vouchers for April 2017. C-18 budget amendments for the month of April 2017. Gives you an analysis of general fund debt services capital projects. C-19 is our financial reporting system, and we will have a new reporting system as of July 1, as requested. A new format, I would say, not new system. C-20 is 17-18 food and nutrition service proposed meal increase. We are required to increase meal prices with compliance with the paid lunch equity provisions, in order to keep up with authorities and reference to federal rates with reimbursements. This we are currently at $1.75 for our elementary schools and $2.10 for secondary schools. And what we're asking is for us to be competitive as relates to the average lunch prices throughout the state. I'm asking for a 25-cent increase in elementary, along with a 15-cent increase in secondary. What this would do, allow us to improve the quality of our food, which we've got to transition to have more of a healthy environment, which that'll be an initiative for 17-18 and 18-19. It will allow us to look at increase in. It will allow us to address any increase of food prices that's put upon us with our vendor, and also replace or purchase new equipment within our facilities. As you can see, so many in the state, it's at $2.12 and for elementary lunch, and secondary lunch is $2.42. So we're just trying to stay relevant, because we see increases that are surrounding us, and we've been kind of stagnant, I think, since 2012 and 2013.
Mm-hmm. I remember when the prices went up then, though. And it
Yes,
does,
ma'am.
it makes it affects families,
Yes, ma'am.
so
It's been a long time.
it's been a long time, but
I think I paid $2.40.
I hear pretty regularly from parents and students alike that they're not real happy with the choices offered at the lunchroom. So if we can improve that, even with a little cost increase, I think that might be a.
I mean, the vision is for, us to transition to some of a deli station and do some different things, and to have healthy, quality products on our lines, and that truly impacts kids' engagement intellectually at school. So I think this is a way for us to have an initiative. What are you gonna have today? We're gonna have pizza and tater tots.
well, and there's, but having gone through the lunch line with my kids, they are required to take a fruit, they're
They
required
are.
to take a vegetable. And what's frustrating is that at the end of the lunch, how many fruits and
It's still
vegetables
sitting
are
on
yeah.
thrown
the
away?
and they throw it
And
in the trash.
it's
They
the
don't eat
pizza's
it.
eaten,
And then they
the
don't
Italian dunkers are eaten,
They
the
love
chicken,
Italian dunkers.
whatever chicken anything is eaten.
It just has to look like chicken.
It has to look like chicken, like a chicken nugget. Corn dogs. Yeah. But unfortunately, those apples and oranges and pear slices, whatever And the lunch ladies are awesome at
Yes, ma'am.
saying, you need to take your fruit, you need to take, you
Yes,
need
ma'am.
to take your fruit, you need to make sure you get your fruit. And I wish there was something that we could do to say, okay, you can't do something to your fruit. Not gonna happen.
Okay, C21 is just our monthly inventory for furniture, equipment. C22 is AV equipment inventory. C23 is report on software as well. C24 is vehicle analysis. C25 is deletion of materials that may be obsolete, unused, or beyond economical repair. C26. Yeah. So I got a little sticker shock on this one. I am overly concerned about this item. Nothing that I can do to this point, but if you look at this chart and this analysis that we were provided, and you see a trend of us moving, moving up of a number of items that are either being misplaced or stolen, and it's costing us a lot of money every single year. We do not have the funding to continue to replace these missing items, bulk of it being computers and laptops and projectors. I'm trying to figure out, doing additional analysis on the side to figure out if they're just actually walking, and how do we not find them. I'm overly concerned. I will put this in principal evaluation for 17-18 because we can't afford to lose $127,000 worth of product.
How do we lose a copier? I mean, I did the other things.
Back 4 copiers.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's
kind of-
possible that it's at
It's
another
on wheels.
location and we just can't find it, or it's, it depends on what it is and how old it is and where it's stuck, what room it's in.
I don't have any answer for that.
Again, it's the accountability at
I
the
mean, I get
building.
the other stuff.
Right.
So I guess it could
It
be
could be a
something
smaller
that
desktop
was
copy.
outdated,
Right.
they got rid of it, but they never wrote it on the book.
It could
Exactly.
be. It could be.
Yes.
It could be something
Yeah.
that's.
Things
that's
that
Well,
there.
and that's what
Put
it
it
is.
out.
Yeah.
And that's been the problem in the past.
Yeah.
Things have been,
Yeah.
gotten rid of,
Right.
but not written off the
Right.
books.
Exactly.
A lot of it's paper trail. A lot of it is us properly at schools, not locking up, not having inventory checks, not accepting, not protecting, and things. I mean, I know we understand things happen, but $127,000 is a lot of money, especially with the increase over the years.
I remember the first year that Robert Johnson took over, and he went through everything and
Right.
found a huge amount of stuff that hadn't been written off. And so the numbers were astronomical.
Right.
I mean, really.
And that's where I'm coming up, the equipment, more so the projectors and the computers.
Right.
Because there are certain things in the classroom that we don't always handle, it has to come through
Correct.
the county office as well. So you were saying you want to hold the principals responsible, but there's certain equipment that we would do like, I can't remember what it's called, when you're asking for a well, it's not a work order, but it's a,
Equipment transfer.
anyway.
I'm trying to throw something out.
I'm trying to think of the word, it's something to request assistance
Requisition.
with your computer, it's an online thing that you do. But the computers and the equipment, issue track, thank you, issue track. The computers and the projectors, for instance, specifically, those always had to be issue track sort of items. And let's say somebody came in and my projector was out, and they said, but we can get another projector for you right away.
They
and
take it.
Boom, they take it off,
That's a problem.
that's not my responsibility.
I don't disagree
to do
with you.
that. And to get the serial number for that projector is not always the easiest thing from a teacher's perspective, because it's up on the ceiling.
Yeah, I would take that picture.
And, well, you can't, I mean, you have to get up on the chair.
Oh, no, don't do that. Not John Easter.
No.
John Easter.
But the computers as well, and there was I'm trying to think, a couple of years ago, there was a switch out, I
Right.
remember even last year.
So, It's actually a
The number
valid
of
point.
computers and
If we're controlling that, and some of this is on us from the district level, if we take something from a school, we should be putting it back and replacing it, either repairing it or with a better product.
Do the laptops include Chromebooks?
Probably.
And the Chromebooks are, if there's handed out
And
to students,
Right. And I think it's more of paperwork not being
That's
done,
totally it,
or
yes.
if there's like a work order that's happened.
Most of them are Dell.
And
Those
it's
are teacher.
replaced, there's no paperwork, they'll replace it and the paperwork doesn't follow, so therefore, a year later, this is an annual
Dell.
process. A year later, we're trying to find the item, you know, for staff to go after and just figure out where it went, who it is, when it is, all of those play a role into this, you know.
What is the food service, right, or what are food service things that go focusing?
Probably kitchen items that are in the cafeteria.
All right.
Possibly, I could actually get the actual item.
It's just interesting.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna find it. We got a key. We'll see. Like we got a keyboard, piano keyboard. We have Dell computers, laptops. We have a 36-inch TV that walked.
I know what that is.
Yeah, probably also 32-inch TV.
A
A DVD. Project? No, it's not. No, it's not. No.
Mr. Superintendent, Armory,
It's at the curve.
we're trying to put a plan in place to make sure that we secure all of our facilities. That's one of, that could also be an issue. One
That's
of our
correct.
facilities are
I
not.
agree with you.
They're not armed, nor do they have not all facilities have surveillance, camera surveillance. So that's part of the plan and that we're making adjustments to in the next 5 years, that facility plan.
Have you found that it's any school, you know, any particular schools over another that you're seeing more loss? High schools over elementary?
I would
or-
say high schools because they have more equipment.
Yeah.
Right now, the high schools are the ones that have the bulk. In this scenario, it's Fluent Island and Oakleaf. And then Lake Asbury Junior High School is and then Millburg High School. Those are the big ones. And then Lake Asbury Elementary as well. So there's some concerns. I think one was what was it? A trailer? Yeah, trailer, we lost a trailer.
A trailer?
The trailer?
We lost
It's
a
a trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mean to
Yeah, it's probably on the side of the road and has Larry's lawn service on it.
Or that one I saw yesterday that was no margaritas.
I'm just,
Just saying. It was flying around there on 16. It looks like, I just saw the occasion where margaritas. It went flying around there on 16.
Is it available June 6th? At least you didn't taste it.
I didn't. I came the other way.
I know, I'm sorry.
Well, let me just say, I really like this format, because normally we get the backup that's just school by school, and, you know, it's a lot more difficult to read, although I know that's still attached to it. I like that you put this on the backup for us, it's more a condensed version, and it certainly, it pops.
Yeah, I was like,
That's a good thing.
I'm
or
like,
not.
don't I gotta put that? But you know what? We want to be
Thank you for
honest.
putting it this way.
So this includes stolen items as well as things that just haven't been located.
Right.
And we say,
If it was
like,
a stolen
Right.
item, it would have a sheriff's report attached to it as well. So yes, it's everything that we need to write off on our books so that we have proper accounting on our
Property
values
manager
and for our
values.
financials.
Yeah, we will get better on this.
I think it might be better as far as delineating exactly what we've lost versus what's been stolen. I think if we
Yeah.
separate
Yeah,
those
we
two
can
Some of the
things out.
stuff
We can do
that's
it.
lost
Yeah.
may have been stolen and we just don't know.
You have to leave the aggregate, but we can break it down.
Well, is the,
Yeah.
in the backup, does it show police report on certain items?
Yeah, I believe the backup, it actually tells you the item and whether it's stolen, missing, it moved, like this one says moved into surplus room and campus sweep was conducted. It talks about what actually happened to the item in detail, so.
I'm just thinking for tracking purposes and for working with local law enforcement, if we see a trend,
Right,
that might be helpful for resolving
Yeah.
some of this.
We'll get it.
All
That's
right,
another
any
issue
other
track.
questions? Let's move on.
All right, C27, this is, we are bids to be awarded. The first one is for Flooring Services, and Flooring Services, we would like to contract with the Till Tile and Carpet out of Stark. Now they'll be able to provide any floor and insulation, carpet, VCT, sheet, vinyl base needed within our county. At the same time, another one would be our ramp services and stair systems bid, and that would be awarded to G&A Manufacturing out of Keystone, and they would be our vendor for the next 3 years in order to help us with our processes.
Do we have any luck with Keystone's parking situation down there? I know we were gonna Or we're gonna
rebid
post,
it,
rebid.
We have to get the Gainesville or Alachua County, we're trying to get vendors to go through our process to get pre-approved first so
And that
they can
takes-
participate.
Ms. Sanders does have an idea that would be fairly low cost in the interim that could help. If you go, and it'll be helpful if you actually visually see it, but in their drop-off loop, right now she can only go to here, but she has sidewalk to here, and the sheriff's office had suggested they go all the way up, but it's not covered and doesn't have benches or anything, and so she had the idea of if we could extend some covered area so they could have,
Yeah.
with, you know, have the kids stand in the rain or whatever to be
Yeah.
picked up, she can actually extend and probably take 10 more cars
Yeah.
in the loop at a time.
Ms. Conan, does the parking lot extend to that area? I mean, the driveway? all
Yeah,
the
yeah,
way?
it does. That goes all the way
Okay.
up. We just have never been able to use it because it's kind of, it's far away from the school.
I
So
got
she
you.
would have
I
to
got
have a
Additional
teacher or a
staff,
staff
additional
member
staff.
stand up there.
Yeah.
But it
Definitely
certainly
look into
could
it.
be a,
We'll do
That's
that.
not
We're
bad.
going to Keystone this week.
okay.
Might really
Thank
help
you.
their
That might
situation.
help.
Ask her to show you.
All right.
She pointed that out to me as well, and it was real
She's a
obvious.
thinker.
It was
Yeah,
real
she is.
obvious that if you just extend it.
Should be that.
She didn't, she was real clear on this is a temporary fix and it doesn't.
She wants to do
Not
all the
giving
way.
But she's also open to potentially swapping her loops and things. She's
That
got,
could be a strategy for temporary.
yeah, she's open, so. And she also said that the buses load up and then they're out of there, so then the potential would be that they could open up
Stagger.
that side as well, but right now we'd have to work with the sheriff's office
Yeah.
because the signage is up. You aren't allowed to go down that road during certain times.
Would that be is there a Keystone Sheriff's or is it just Clay County?
No, it's Clay
Clay County.
No, we don't have.
I don't know.
Goodness.
I know Orange Park has them.
They have police,
I know, like,
Orange Park still uses.
They pulled me over when they like, this was years ago, like, where are you at? Clay County.
All right, any other questions on this?
All right. C-28, renewal of employee benefits. My understanding is that when we agreed with United Health that year 2 would be a 10% increase, is my understanding, that committee agreed upon. And this is approved for employee benefits, and it was negotiated, so this is just bringing the terms for us to acknowledge it as a board and to accept the increase as identified through the committee.
That has people up to the bargaining.
Yes, it says,
Did this committee agree? This was
Right.
agreed upon?
This is
It
really,
says-
The committee is a subcommittee of the
Right.
bargaining.
and the recommendation from the committee for the board to accept the renewal of the overall in health insurance benefits policy. And of course, the rest of it is negotiated based on the pay periods and all that good stuff that's after, I believe, through bargaining.
You know how you feel about the health increase.
Got a new look? Got a new look?
Yeah.
I like it.
if it goes up,
Right.
yeah, I was gonna say if it goes up a little bit,
The insurance committee doesn't have any authority.
right, it says employee benefits is part of the collective bargaining process, which is negotiated through the district insurance committee.
Right.
All right, any questions? C-28 is our interlocal agreement between Clay County School Board and also our, the county commissioners. Sorry, sorry, it says 29. Verse 29, which is just, this is our agreement with the fire rescue with gas.
What are you
I like it.
It's
Different, I like
easier to
different.
read.
It's just.
Colorful.
Yeah, I like it. I don't know if you did, but okay. So this is C-29, this is our agreement with the fire rescue using our gas.
Just not the sheriff's
You even changed your little icons at the bottom.
C-30 is elementary Y bid package 1. This is for site work. This is for us working to go ahead and improve clearing the site. This is clearing the site and beginning to put utilities in the ground for school Y. I believe, is it today?
It's a placeholder, it's at 2 p.m. today, and we're looking for good news on that, right, Ms. Bryce?
Ms. Bryce, please.
We're looking for good news, that's for site and utilities. we're combining site and utilities, and after approval, they'll be pushing trees by June 5th. So it gives us
So can we
gives us
have
13
a,
months to knock it out.
Dr. Kemp, sorry, I mean, Dr. Kemp, be a day that we can kind of do some cool groundbreaking with the board and.
Absolutely.
All right, awesome.
That's planned. We're gonna plan it.
Oh, yeah, we need.
Gotta get the
hard
shovels,
hats.
hard hats and the shovels.
That's right.
Find my trailer.
Nicole, that's
Find the trailer.
an opportunity.
Are we gonna give our academy students the opportunity to be out at the site, the job site, and, I mean, I know we can't very well have them working on it, but at least expose them to what's going on.
Could be cool.
Our academy students, this is a great opportunity.
Yep. Yep.
To be a firsthand part of something like that.
Yes, ma'am.
Are we doing a total clear of that site? Are we trying to save trees? I was
We're
asked.
trying, yeah, but it's not a total clear. There will be some buffer along the
And
property
are we
line.
farming the trees out? Somebody was buying them?
Yes, we are
Putting
farming,
them to
yes,
good work.
yes, we are getting the benefit of the timber.
Thank you.
And
I
getting it
noticed a
That's what I
wince
used to-
when you said pushing trees.
Pushing trees, knocking
I
twelve
noticed a
units.
few winces.
Yeah,
That
no,
does sound like
I'm sorry.
nice.
But
We
we
will
are
be
trying-
clearing the site for Elementary Y, and we will be receiving the benefits of the timber. It's not a lot, but
No, right,
but it's something.
but we will be saving some of the trees
Yes,
as
ma'am.
well for aesthetic purposes. Thank you.
All right. C31 is just pre-qualifications for contractors, for those who want to be engaged and work with us. C32 is schematic plannings for school-wide. We have had some adjustments with architectural work. We've added 8 permanent spaces to give us more leverage at the facility. So we changed Coppergate's plans a little bit, altered it a little bit, in order to give us more occupation space at the school. We did some more different work on mechanical systems. We did some different work with air handling within the school, and then also with wiring and access to the school. We learned some things with Coppergate that we do not want to go through again. So we're using those lessons learned in order to have a better access. And wiring access.
The Elementary Y will become will be the standard for what we're shooting for district-wide.
That means access ready to go.
And they'll have a good sized cafeteria to accommodate
Nice
any growth
cafeteria.
that we need.
Nice cafeteria. And the good thing about the school, we'll be able to, if down the road, there's ever a need to extend, you can extend on this model that we're using, not put portables. Extend needs.
Will this have more classrooms permanent classrooms than what we have been building in the past? Or about the
8
same?
more.
8 more.
8 more permanent classrooms?
8 more than Coppergate's plan to account for the
Because I mean, we
population.
went through years of, basically building an administration building,
Yeah.
media center, and then
Portables around it. right?
portable city, or relocatable city, excuse me.
Well, right now it's projected to open at 982.
960.
Leave that number there. I don't want to go to that.
862.
So Dr. Campbell will be opening up with portables?
We're not going to open up with portables. We are going to plan to have electric and water available. The post setup was it's cheaper to do that while we're building it.
Right.
We will have a contingency in case we needed to do that.
Thank you. Any further questions?
All right, discussion 1. Let's see, we'll discuss. That is it.
My goodness. That's gotta be a world record.
We're getting better.
1 hour.
All right, we've reviewed everything. At this time, were there any questions from our audience? No questions? Ms. Piva, did you have any questions? No questions? No. Superintendent comment?
So thank you. I will engage each of you starting today. I don't know if anyone has time now. You're more than welcome to come see me if you have some time right now. I want to talk about some upcoming events. Yep. And other than that, we're excited to meet on May, I believe, 31st. May 31st will provide opportunity for us to look at orgs and to look at 16-17 budget and transition for proposed 17-18 budget.
And where will that meeting be?
I believe that's at the TTC.
Yes, sir, it is, 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock? Yes, ma'am.
TTC instead of here.
Anytime we have a budget meeting or a workshop like that, so we need to meet at the TCC.
Yeah.
We're outgrowing this room as it
Yeah,
is,
so-
we need to move across the street.
I'm
And,
working on,
You know, put the tables
Yeah.
together to make a big conference table so that
Yeah.
we still have this setup, but that way everybody has,
Sure.
you know, tables and
Yes, ma'am.
there's lots of room. We're kind
Yeah.
of crowded here
I
now.
know. we're working on another contingent plan, but we can move.
So I didn't see anywhere on the agenda the contract for our lobbyists. I think I requested that last month.
We can put it on there.
Can we? 'Cause I think
Actually, you
we're-
didn't request it last month. You asked to have it added to last month's agenda.
And
So
what we ultimately agreed on was that they were gonna cover us and then we were gonna put it on the June agenda.
No, that wasn't the agreement. The agreement was that we would see if they were available to continue, and if they weren't, we would put it on last month's agenda. So if you wanted it on this month's agenda, it had to be within the 14 days.
Right, and we can go back and look at the last meeting, at the last, comments that we had at our last workshop, not our last regular meeting, but our last workshop. I'm pretty sure that I requested we put it on the June agenda, but if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, but,
But we could always add it to the July one, and they want to come out and give a presentation at the June 29th meeting. They told Mrs. Bush that they would take about an hour, which I said maybe we could give them 20 minutes. And they can email all of us all the information in advance, and then if that's okay, we'll have them come to the June 29th, and then if
Put it
you
on the
want to
July
put it on the
agenda.
July meeting.
That
So-
might be
So
better
there's
anyway
strategy.
than if we had questions on the agreement or the
Right.
wording or something, that might be better.
Are you
that's
okay
fine,
with
that's
that?
fine with me.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, I'm on scratch.
So let's
Sorry.
make a note that that will go on the July regular meeting, put the contract for Southern Strategies. And that they, Ms. Bush is gonna reach out to them and offer them 20 minutes for the June meeting. Is that too long?
No, I'm just asking, what is their update going to regard
Ooh,
The legislative session.
yeah, update on the session.
in 20 minutes?
Well,
No, that's, I don't know.
I'd
You
be fine
can't-
with a separate
30
workshop
minutes?
for our.
We just have an update
Why
at
don't we
the
just have a separate
consortium.
meeting and give them an hour?
Yeah.
I'd be
That's
fine
what I
with
was
that.
thinking.
I mean, there was so much that went on.
There's
and
a
then, of
lot.
course, is it tomorrow that by tomorrow the governor can either veto or not veto?
Tomorrow's the day.
Tomorrow's the day.
It's not on his
right?
desk.
Huh?
It's not on his desk.
Tomorrow's the day.
Yeah, that's the problem. What she just said is a
It's not
problem.
on his desk.
Which means that he doesn't have time.
He doesn't veto, he gets 15 days when it's on his
Yeah.
desk.
On his
It has
desk.
not been put on his desk.
Are you kidding me?
No, the problem is, and when it's not on his desk, he doesn't have it, he knows what's coming, but when it's not on his desk, you don't have really time to go through it, you don't.
Well, he already knows, and
He
it's
knows
not
what
on
it's
his
on.
desk because they're working to override his veto. They think he's gonna veto it, so they need to override his veto, so they're lobbying
Yes.
the House and the Senate.
Don't they have to have 2/3?
I've heard they have.
Yeah, and
And
he
when
is,
they have it, they'll put it on his desk.
and I
But
say
as
this,
of Friday, it
We're
wasn't
ready to
on
do
his
it for
desk.
70s.
yeah, and I will say this, the governor is not happy with it.
No.
I can tell you, I've had conversations, he is not happy with it, so he understands, but, it's not.
what if we were to ask them if they would be able to put their stuff together and present to us by the 31st when we do that budget workshop?
We can reach out to Matt.
And then
see
we
if he
could
can
give
do
him time.
On the backside.
What do you all think?
That's fine, I'm fine with it. And so when you say, I wanna make sure I'm right, when we say July, that's the June 29th meeting, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, the June 29th meeting.
And that's more appropriate anyway with
Yeah.
our fiscal year.
I'm fine.
I mean, if we pass
Yeah.
it June 29th, then
It's into
effective
the
July
new-
1.
Right,
Oh, yeah.
right. So let's see if they can, if they'd like to do the May 31st, when we have our budget workshop. How long do you anticipate our budget workshop?
Probably
Mm-hmm.
an hour.
Hour?
Yeah. And depending on what happens with the governor, may
Right.
change all my numbers, so it'll
Yeah.
be what if.
See,
And that's my concern about the budget workshop, because I don't want you to put all this together with an estimate and then present it to us and it all changed.
My first statement in any budget document, budget representation, it is draft,
Yeah.
draft,
Yeah.
draft, and subject to change,
Right.
because it's not going to
And
be confirmed. I mean, everything right
I'm
now
gonna
is
need
just
30
draft.
minutes to walk you through, Maltworks.
So that's about an hour and a half.
Yeah, I say 30 minutes. I'll talk fast, so maybe 15.
Well,
Oh,
and
please don't
to
talk
your
that
point,
fast.
And then an
part
hour.
of my request, because this whole budget workshop thing, the ball got rolling because I requested it. And there was a miscommunication somewhere because my request was that we have an update on this year's budget.
Okay.
I wasn't interested, I mean, I am interested in the
Right.
17-18 budget, but I don't want a preliminary
Okay.
estimation of the 17-18 budget.
So is that what you want for May? And just
That's
an
what I
update on
wanted,
this
was
year's
an
budget?
update on this
And
year's
then we
budget.
still do our regular budget
Exactly.
meeting in July,
Mhm.
like we normally would?
Yes.
So you go, I'm prepared to talk 17, 18, you don't want that?
We can,
Well, we don't
but
have the
it's
correct
pretty
numbers, though.
preliminary at this point.
Yeah, but you gotta have a plan. I'm ready.
We could do a small snapshot.
Alright.
Yeah, and I do, I have a snapshot of where we could potentially be given with the current conference report. So again, it is subject to change.
Okay.
And the whole
Hopefully it'll
purpose for
change
my
for the
request
better, not the
was-
worse.
We
So-
started this year's budget with one superintendent and we changed superintendent, so I just wanted us to be all on the same page.
See where we are.
I like Ashley's idea, if you wanna shift to that and do on the 31st, do a recap of this year, this fiscal year that we're in. You can present your org chart and you can give us a quick little snapshot of what you anticipate. And then we can have Southern Strategies also come and present. But then in July, after you get your actual numbers, we'll have a
Yes,
real
ma'am.
Right.
budget workshop for the next coming year. Is everybody okay with that?
Well, wait, he said you still need 30 minutes?
For Oregon,
We want the organization.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, so,
And I just wanted to clarify something. At the board meeting, we were talking about the allocations and the org chart. And Betsy, I think it might have been you who said, last year the allocations came with the dollar amount for salaries. It was actually the org chart that came with that. So if you can put the
Yep,
org chart
we're ready.
together with the salaries,
Yep.
that would be helpful for all of us
Yep.
to see.
you'll get, it'll all be, it's ready, be
Okay,
embedded.
all right.
So the only other question I had was, when are we going to see principal reappointments?
Yeah, this, engage you, I'll start having engaging conversations starting today.
But I mean, when will principals know?
Alright, so, board meeting is June 1, Thursday. So I will have, meetings with principals on Friday. And we will post it as requested 48 hours prior. So it goes
So they'll
requested.
know for this
So by
meeting.
this Friday?
Yeah, this Friday I will have individual meetings with every principal in the
Any
organization.
changes, you've
Yep, any
spoken to them
changes,
before
spoken
it's
to them, and then it's before it's published. The only thing I want to get in front of school staffs as soon as I can, but I do not want to do it until it's formally approved by the board, because I respect the process, even though it's my nomination. So immediately upon board, so you'll hear, so staffs will see changes, which is, it is what it is. And then right after the board, we will start having meetings with faculty and staff to introduce leaders and any movements.
So do you have to wait till after, do we make that decision June 1st then?
You will, you'll approve my
We'll
recommendations.
approve his recommendation.
And then you can start meeting with staff
I will.
literally on the 2nd.
Yep, immediately.
When he
And
says
are we-
add it, it goes into the personal consent agenda,
Yes.
so they'll just do an
Okay.
update
Yeah.
when they have to.
Okay.
So
Just making
48
sure.
hours before, it'll be
Right.
visible for us
Yes,
to
ma'am.
see.
Yeah, okay.
But
Right.
he'll have a conversation with
I
each
engaged
of us
everyone
before
today,
then.
I've already had 2
Okay,
conversations.
thank you.
And then
Yes.
one more question.
Sure.
I had emailed you about the charter school
Yep.
principals
Yep.
wanting to be a part of
Yeah.
communication, and you said you reviewed them.
Yeah, I'll review the contract. We're not obligated to engage them in our communications. They're not an employee of mine. So anything that I push out and drive in our body of work, they're not engaged or privy to that information. Only thing I'm there to help them and assist them with their work. But as far as me managing them every single day, I don't get the opportunity to have their kids. I don't get the opportunity to hire their staff, so I'm not going to lead their staff. I can provide, if they ask me questions, I can answer any questions they may have. But other than that, leading their work, I'm not going to expose them to them. Unless in their contract it says that we have to provide.
No, I don't think that's.
Yeah,
no,
which
it's
I
not.
would say I wouldn't personally sign a contract that says that.
No.
So, especially when I want their kids to come to my organization.
Any
Are we
board
gonna,
comments?
yeah, are we gonna have disciplinary hearings the same day as the board meeting?
Yes.
Okay. So that depending on how many,
Yes.
the time will be set later, okay.
I have a question about the next workshop, the date of the next workshop, because there was a question about going from Tuesday to Monday, and
Are you talking about for this? For the
Yes.
agenda review?
agenda review, and I didn't,
The next one right now is scheduled for June the 20th.
which is a Tuesday, perfect, thank
And
you.
as long as we do
That's
them
what I
at
asked.
9,
Yes.
Mrs. Starter and I can still make our meeting.
Okay. And
Well, you're gonna be gone.
Oh, yeah.
You wrote J.
I'll be gone.
I wrote JK gone on the.
And I would say, we will not have, we're through our heavy window. So, you may have some stuff,
Yeah.
through our heavy window, you may have stuff for budget, other than that, it should be packed.
I have one question. I got a couple of phone calls that we are changing the way we pay our teachers during the summer. That at the end of the school year, the teachers would get 5 paychecks.
Yes.
And we're not gonna do that anymore?
That's correct. They'll have 4 checks, and one of the June pay, and the final check will be the 5th payroll. And that was on the calendar as we approved the calendar that was brought before the board. It identified those 4 checks and then the 1 check.
So why did we
Those still-
change that?
We changed it for the purpose of the timing of paperwork that comes in at the end of the year. There's a lot of changes that occur, turnover or change of movement of, actually just turnover. So there has been a lot of overpayments at the end of the year. When we process the 5 checks, it's very difficult to readjust those paychecks. So in order to ensure that everyone gets paid their contracted dollars, we stated that we would have 4 checks in that first, I think it's the 2nd June payroll, and then the final June 30th, which is the final for everyone, the difference of any adjustments.
So they're gonna get 4 in the beginning and then 1 at the end.
Correct, I believe so, I have the schedule here.
Ms.
And it
Hyder,
was-
can I ask, does that go into contract? Is that a contractual thing?
No, but they're 10-month employees and, to hold their paycheck, and I didn't see it on the calendar. In fact, when I heard this, I went back and looked on the calendar and I still don't see it. I see the summer pay calendar, but the teachers are entitled to their 5 paychecks.
Right.
You're already withholding their money, and really, they're 10-month employees. They should not have to wait. And in fact, they were told, the bookkeepers were told the 15th.
June 30th.
Now you're telling me the 30th.
They're already
Right,
into
and
their
no,
summer
and it
though.
probably is, I don't have the exact
Yeah, so
information.
what I'll do
in
is
front.
this,
We'll
I will go back and look at the approved calendar. If we need to adjust in any way, shape, or form, we'll bring it back to adjust.
Yeah, that's
This is news to me, so I'll look into it and I'll give an update to the board and I'll work with Ms. Paiva and Dr. Legecko to
And
figure
what
out
was
where we are.
disconcerting is they found out from bookkeepers. So the bookkeepers went back and told all those teachers, and these teachers got, they have mortgages and everything else, they have trips to pay for, or whatever, whatever it is, they keep calling me.
Were there any other board comments? That's all I have.
I'll look at the calendar and see how we can, work on the payroll.
FSA was
It
excellent.
is May, June.
Betsy, anything, Ashley?
Can I speak to you afterwards?
Absolutely.
Mary, anything else for the, all right, meeting adjourned.
And FSA data was awesome.
Yeah, so what I